My name is Kamran, and I'm pleased to speak to you today about the topic, the transformative power of diversity and inclusion. I spent 13 years of my life in Iran until there was a revolution in 1979. I personally witnessed the revolution, the mass demonstrations, the chaos, the curfew, the martial law, the shootings, the buildings on fire, and the eventual overthrow of the government. As a result of the revolution, I fled and immigrated to one of the most diverse cities in the globe, Houston, Texas. I attended an all-boys Catholic high school, which was a very different experience than the co-ed secular school I attended in Iran. And afterwards, I was granted admission to Rice University. And upon my completion at Rice, I went to law school and became an attorney. Now, when I talk about diversity, why do I use the term transformative? I use the word transformative because diversity can transform a startup nation into a global superpower and a startup business into a global brand worth billions of dollars in market capitalization today and will continue to be relevant in the future. Further, recently there was talk within the United States legislature that foreign-born immigrant students who are studying STEM subjects, science, technology, engineering, and math, that upon graduation, they would be conferred LPR status. In other words, lawful permanent resident status. What that means, in essence, is on the day of the graduation, a green card would be stapled to their diploma as to prevent them from leaving the country once their student visa expired. It's a brilliant idea. It's to prevent the brain drain and to keep that intellectual power within the United States so it can maintain its supremacy. It's my fervent hope that this legislation will become law in the near future. I talked about startup businesses becoming global brands. Example, Uber. We all know about Uber. It's a ride-sharing company. I took Uber here today myself. This ride-sharing company was formed in 2009. In a span of 11 years, it has penetrated 63 countries. It operates in over 700 cities and has a market capitalization of over $50 billion. Think about that. That's incredibly impressive for a company that doesn't build airplanes, doesn't manufacture cars, doesn't build dams, doesn't build roads, yet it's competing with the General Electrics and the Microsofts and the Googles and the other giants in market capitalization. But how did it accomplish such a feat? It accomplished it by investing in its own diverse workforce. Within Uber, there's diversity groups within Uber. There is Uber's community for caregivers and employees living with disabilities. There's Uber's Asian community. There's Uber's community for socioeconomic inclusion. There's Uber's community for Black employees and allies. There's Uber's community for immigrants. There's Uber's community for women. And there's Los Ubers, Uber's community for Hispanic and Latina employees and allies. The next example is Apple. We all know about Apple. Apple was a startup in California in mid-70s. In a span of 40 years, it has surpassed ExxonMobil as the richest company in the world. Presently, there's more than 1.4 billion people on the planet are using Apple devices. How does it do that? Well, according to its CEO, Tim Cook, he's of the opinion that the best companies in the land will be the most diverse. And to that end, Apple has stores in 24 countries and has over 200 stores outside of the territorial bounds of the United States. And in those countries, it employs its native population. Now, another area where diversity and inclusion has a transformative effect is in the realm of professional sports. I'm a not a native Houstonian, but I've been here a long time, so I consider myself a Houstonian. I'm a Houston Rockets fan. In the mid-'80s, the Houston Rockets took a chance on a Nigerian former soccer goalie who was not a professional basketball player, and gave him the best equipment, the best coaching available, and signed him. And in a span of 15 years, Akeem Olajuwon delivered not one, but 2 NBA championships to the Houston Rockets, each championship generating hundreds of millions of dollars for the franchise. Baseball. Boston Red Sox followed the same pattern. They drafted David Ortiz, Big Papi, from Dominican Republic. Brought him over, gave him the best coaching possible, and in a span of 10 years, delivered not 1, 2 Major League Baseball World Series, each one generating hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue for an organization. So clearly, the Rockets, Major League Baseball, Apple, and Uber have found the formula for great success. So the take-home message is, for the companies that want to be successful, it behooves them to implement diversity and inclusion programs within their companies. And for those that don't, they're missing out on potential greatness for their company. I look forward to speaking to you in the future, expanding on these topics, also talking about active inclusion, belonging, gender equality, and confirmation bias. Thank you.